All right, everybody, I want to welcome you back to The Potty Line. I'm your girl, ZZJ.
And I'm your girl, Black Beach Barbie.
Oh my God, it's that time of the month.
The tip of the D.
The tip of the what?
The tip of the D.
Sex Talks with Badisha.
A.K.A. Alicia B. Welcome.
What's up, ladies? What's up?
All right, girl, I'm just so excited for today because Badisha here is going to talk to all of us about the sex ego.
Discovering your sex ego, a.k.a. your alter ego that is sexual.
But before we get into the nitty-gritty, like I like to say all the time, Badisha, why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about yourself?
So, I am a registered nurse in the emergency department. That's my occupation by day. But I am a sex coach all the other times of the day.
Okay.
Yes.
And how recent did you start this sex coaching?
I actually started this year, but to be totally honest, like with my friends, I've been sex coaching all my life. Because I find I got into sex coaching because I found that a lot of my friends would come to me asking me questions about sex anyway. So I'm just like, why don't I just turn this into a job?
Yeah,
girl.
You're a natural.
I'm a natural.
That's
What can I say? What can I say?
It's your calling to get everybody coming.
And I just literally. So I don't know about you guys, but I grew up in a very Catholic type of household, so we didn't talk about sex much. We didn't talk about sex at all. I learned a lot of sex from movies, TV shows. I don't know about you guys, but that's where I learned all of my information about sex.
Yeah.
So for me, sex was all about that fairy tale of like meeting Prince Charming, falling in love, seeing that man at the end of the road, and you run to each other, and you just embrace each other, and you fall in love, and then it's happily ever after.
You have a magical kiss, and then you become married and pregnant, and that's it. And no sex is involved.
That's it. That's all. It. That's it. That's all I learned. Like, that's it. Yep. So that's what I learned. So from that, I kind of obviously started to become sexual, was in a relationship. I didn't really know what I was doing, basically. Luckily, like my first partner, he also didn't know what the hell.
Join the club. Join the club.
But that's the thing, like we just go based on what we see. We don't actually have much experience. So I didn't really know what I was doing. So a lot of the times I just kind of thought that I would just pleasure my partner because that's what they did on the TV. Like, they would kiss, and then the guy would have an orgasm, and
that was the end of it. Yeah.
And that's how babies are made.
And that's how babies are made. That's what I thought it was. I was like, I was even in one of my past relationships, I was so submissive to the point where I kind of just did whatever he told me to do because I thought that's how it was.
Yeah.
Like, I thought that he told me what to do. I did it because it made him feel good. And if he was making me feel good, then that's it. And that's all there was to it. But little did I know, once I started to learn more about myself, like, some of those things I didn't even like to do. And I just did it based on pleasing my partner and making sure that he was satisfied, and I forgot about satisfying myself. And I didn't even used to masturbate. Like, I didn't touch myself at all. Like, I thought because my partner is pleasuring me, I didn't need to do it myself. Why do I have to do it myself if I have somebody doing it for me? So it was kind of like I lost my own power. Owning myself and being able to pleasure myself. I lost that. I didn't even have it. I didn't even have it.
Yeah.
Fast forward to like a more stable relationship that I was in, I kind of wanted to explore more. I wanted to explore more about myself, because luckily this partner allowed me to be able to look deeper. Because like in my past relationship, it was kind of like he made me think that I have to think this way, I have to be this way, I have to do things based on what he says. But fast forward to a more stable partnership where this partner allowed me to be independent and let me think for myself, those sexual thoughts kind of resurfaced and kind of made its way in like the forefront of my
new relationship.
My new relationship. Yeah. So now I want to like explore more. I started to masturbate. I'm like, oh my God, I'm masturbating. And I'm like, I'm touching myself. Oh my God, I just made myself orgasm. Like, I started to realize again, like, I can do this for myself. I actually even hired my own sex coach, and she helped me really find out what my true desires were in sex, like with myself and with my partner.
So what made you go seeking for a sex coach in the first place?
I wanted more. I wanted to experience more. Like being in that relationship with my partner, obviously in the beginning of every relationship, your dopamine and all of your love
everything is
hormones
good.
are heightened. And then we moved in together and it kind of just got super vanilla.
Yeah.
Right? So like the sex was still good, but it was just like I wanted to do more.
That's like vanilla. Like it still
vanilla.
tastes good,
It's
but
good.
can we put some sprinkles? Can we get some chocolate? What about some Oreos or strawberries? Right?
Cherry on top.
Well, let's blend it up a bit.
Yes. That's what I wanted. I wanted to do more. And I found myself, I don't know, it's like something just clicked in my head and I just realized I was like, because there were times where we weren't having sex as often, and I was just like, why do I have to rely on waiting for him to feel good and to feel pleasure when I was just like, oh, wait a minute, I can do that myself.
Okay.
So then that's when I like seeked out a sex coach to help me become more comfortable with doing that and finding out what I actually like and being able to communicate all of this with my partner, because for me communication is something that I struggle with. Like to this day. Like it's always a work in progress. There's days where I'm great at communicating and then there's days where I am not gonna say shit.
Yeah. And that's like that's everybody
like me.
though.
Yeah.
But everybody is like that. It's a matter of like finding how that other person receives your communication and can like pick up on your signs. Okay, she ain't saying that. What's up?
Yeah. Exactly.
What's going on with you? Let me press the button here. No, that button didn't work. Okay, let me try this one.
Exactly. Yeah. And because before it would have been like, what's wrong? Nothing.
Right?
Right.
Well, what's wrong?
The typical nothing.
Nothing. So then why are you acting like I said nothing?
You should just know.
Right? But that's not the case, because he can't or she can't, your partner cannot read your mind.
Yeah.
So that's something that I've learned over the course of working on myself and doing that work. So I wanted to be able to communicate all of this stuff with my partner. So that's why I hired this sex coach and I found her, and she and like the one thing that stuck with me, and I love to tell people this also, is pleasure is your birthright and it's your responsibility. Although, yes, we do have those partners that can help us get there. Ultimately, your pleasure is your birthright. You were born, us women, if you were born female, with female DNA and female genitals, we were given a clitoris. And I'm not too sure if you know, but the sole purpose of your clitoris is for pleasure.
So for some people who actually don't know about Badisha, is that she's also a nurse.
Yes. Yes.
She is a nurse turned sex coach.
Yeah, so she'll be throwing in a bit of like, facts about the female body, and it's not coming out of anywhere. She actually knows.
I got a little
She's got a little bit. little few things up her sleeve, just a bit.
Some technical terms.
Yeah.
Got a little bit of a background there. But
So now, for people, like, this sounds and can be very overwhelming for people who have grown up a little bit more conservative, a little bit more shy, in the sense that there's shame surrounded around touching themselves and pleasuring themselves. And just, I think just us as women in general, it's like the stuff we do, yes, it needs to be in secret, but it's almost like
shameful.
Very shameful.
Yeah.
Like, I have to,
Yeah.
and no one can't know that I watch porn.
Yeah.
No one can't know that I have a vibrator. Right? Everything is just like, no, girls don't fart. Girls don't burp. They don't even touch themselves, right?
It's not real.
So, like, for people who it's, like, very overwhelming, like, what would you, like, how do we dive? Because I would say that I'm very shy sexually in that sense.
100%.
Or I used to be.
Yeah, 100%.
What are the beginning steps of discovering your sex ego? And how do we know it's even there?
Girl, it's there. It is there. But some people just haven't been able to unleash it yet because they don't know how.
Yeah.
Right? Like you said, like people, there are so many people that have grown up in very sex negative households. Like, there's either you grow up in a sex positive household, a sex negative household, or like a sex like avoidant household where they just like don't like they're just avoiding it.
So for the people who are
exist. Yes, exactly,
who are starting to get curious and like, you know, like Pandora's kind of just being like, let me out of the box.
Yeah.
What would you suggest? Like, where do I begin? Where do I start?
There's so many places, but for me, it really took me into figuring out what like my sex story was and like what sex was for me growing up and what it looked like growing up, so that I had kind of like a basis of why I feel shame or where's the shame coming from. Like, growing up Catholic, like, we were taught that masturbating will send you to hell.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to hell. It's like not something that Catholic people talk about.
Yeah.
And then you should only have sex if you're married. Which is like, so growing up for me, like, that's my sex story, and that's where I found the shame and around masturbating and having sex. So I feel like knowing your story and finding out what it means, what sex means to you, and what it looked like for you growing up is probably step one.
Yeah.
And once you like kind of once you're able to work through that and kind of get past that shame, I think that's when you can start like even exploring. And when I say exploring, I mean like exploring your body. Starting to touch yourself, starting to like look at your body in the mirror and see what it looks like, because I know a lot of people don't even know what their vulvas look like.
Sorry, say that again. What did you say?
Vulva.
So
sorry, what's a vulva?
Your vulva is the area, your genital area that consists of, like, if you were again born female, is where your vagina is, your pubis bone, which is where your pubic hair is, your clit. Like, your vulva holds the goods.
I thought she was talking about a car, but I guess technically it is. It's got a couple of gears.
Who got the keys? Who got the keys?
Vroom, vroom, vroom.
She got the energy.
Oh my god!
So a lot of like I said, a lot of people don't even know what it looks like. So like being able to be comfortable with getting a mirror and just lying down and opening up your legs and looking at what she looks like and honoring that, because this is what you were born with, and this belongs to you, and this is where your pleasure is coming from, and just honoring yourself. I feel like that's another like first step to being comfortable with being able to dive and find your sex ego.
Yeah. Wow. I know, it's interesting because, like, for women, when you talk about masturbation, it's like nobody, when you're younger, it's like, no, girls don't do that, but boys
are allowed
as
to.
Soon as they are like teenagers, you brush up on them, like, they're jerking off every day.
Not even teenagers. It's since they come out of the womb. What are you saying? They get to just hold on to it.
They just do it, and they've been doing it from time. And us women, it's like, oh my gosh, you don't explore that until you're older.
It's so crazy.
Or until, like,
they're allowed to be so liberated from the day they're born. And we've had to reserve and preserve that side of ourselves. That's why girls are out here cheating on people. I'm sorry.
It's true.
It's like you didn't let the freaking phoenix run wild earlier on enough, right?
Society wouldn't let us run free.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there are girls and women out there that have started masturbating just as young as boys.
Yeah.
But it's because there's
a lot of shit.
That shame and
slut shaming.
Yeah. Behind women masturbating, and like, women aren't supposed to do that. Women are just supposed to
nurture and
supposed to cook,
take care of people,
and just have babies. Like growing up, like, I thought that the sole purpose of having a vagina and uterus is to pop babies out, but no, that's
no pleasure in that. Just freaking make my baby.
Yeah. But that's not the case, and because we have been growing up in like a patriarchal society where it's a lot of like men saying this and men saying that. Yeah, that's the light that is shining on us, so that's how we're supposed to act, and that's how we're supposed to be. But I'm here today to let y'all know that that's not the case. No, because we need to normalize women being sexual, because there is no problem with being sexual. Just because you're sexual doesn't mean you're dirty. It doesn't mean you're a slut. Also, there's nothing wrong with being a slut. Yeah. Because all you're doing is just being adventurous with your sexual self and finding your sex ego.
You're being curious. Yeah. You're being curious about your body and how much pleasure you can get out of it.
Exactly.
That's what that is.
Exactly. And we've been so like told to like keep your pleasure behind the door so no one knows about it or no one can see it. Yeah. That we don't get a chance to express ourselves, and then when we do, we're a slut. Right? Like, that's not the case. But we need to start talking about it and normalizing it and teaching young women that it's okay to explore your bodies. It's okay to touch yourself. It's okay to have these thoughts. It's okay to want to have sex. It's okay to feel shame. That's okay too. Everything that you are doing is normal, and it's okay. And we just need to start talking more about it and letting other women know that you do you and it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I'm like, I think back to high school. Or even, no, junior high school. And when we had that section where we had to do like sex ed. Right?
Yeah, that's so useless.
Like when I think about it, it's like even talking about our period. Sorry, people, but I'm saying it.
We have periods.
We have periods, but it wasn't even described properly for me to like. So when it was even time for that to happen to me, I was still completely oblivious to what was going on with my body. Yeah, it was just like, oh, I just bleed. Yeah, once a month. I'm not dying. I don't have a cut down there. but I'm just bleeding. And I have to wear this. Sorry, people. I'm really sorry, guys. But you're going to have daughters. You're going to have to teach them this, too.
Honestly, though, like...
It's like the basic stuff.
Yeah, but for men, if you have a partner, you should know about her cycle. Because then you can learn about her and you know about what she's going throughout her cycle. Yeah. There is a time during the cycle where we are crazy. Yeah. And it is normal. Yeah. So if you know that, you can prepare yourself.
Exactly.
To know, A, don't fuck with me, and B, you probably want to go sleep at your mama's house.
Yeah, because we can't control it.
Stay away from me.
It's literally our hormones.
That right? One time of the month, allow me to be batshit crazy for that moment.
So when we say, so these are the key words, okay? When we say it's Shark Week, that means run. Mm-hmm. Or if Aunt Flo came to visit, that means that's that time of the month. Yeah. Those two things. I don't know what else other people call it. What else do you guys call it for you? Yeah, Shark Week or Aunt Flo. Okay?
Yeah. Or straight up, my period
Is here.
Yeah. I think I'm pretty, like, open with saying, my period is here. Leave me alone.
I am bleeding. Don't touch me.
Don't touch me.
I know.
Don't beg me.
I know there's some guys that are okay with having sex during the period, which honestly,
but sometimes
every guy
it's
should.
very like.
But there's times where I'm like,
pain.
I don't want your your penis inside of my vagina because it hurts.
Yeah. It's very tender.
It's tender. I'm hurting. I'm cramping. There's blood coming out.
Yeah.
I understand you're horny, but right now
it's not a good time.
Yeah.
And you just gotta allow it.
Please and thank you.
Exactly. So for you men out there, like, get to know your women's cycle because it'll help you in the long run.
I'd be like, ring, ring, ring. Hi, this is my vagina speaking. Sorry, but we're going to be out of town for 3 to 7 days. Call me in that time. But until then, the store is closed. Have a good night.
Leave a message after.
Leave a message after the beep. That's the nicest way we can say it. Okay.
So true. So
but I don't know.
True.
Like going back to high school, like we look at like kids nowadays too, and how earlier on they're having sex and being very unaware of what sexual touching is and all this stuff. It's like all we learned how to do, and I don't think all of us got to do this in junior high, was put a condom on a banana.
The thing is, I
don't
even remember my sex education at school.
Yeah,
it was that.
Did not have sex education.
Oh yeah, that's
we
right.
We were just told, don't do it.
Don't do it. You can get STDs and this and that. It's just like, so it's like learning like this.
Yeah.
It's almost like a fear tactic to keep us from not doing it.
Do you remember Mean Girls where the coach was talking to them about sex and he's like, don't have sex. Because if you have sex, you can get an STD and die.
And that was it.
And that's it. But that's not what happens.
Right.
And like, there's so much stigma behind STDs too. Like, if you get an STD, you're not gonna die.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
they're curable.
They are fine. It's not that big of a deal.
It's like you got that scarlet letter, that A on you now.
Right?
Girl,
like,
you've
that's
been
how
marked.
It used to be, but it's not like that.
Yeah, it's not like that.
But,
but it's weird. It's like you've had to relearn and teach yourself sex education as an adult.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's also why a lot of us women, or just people in general, go into relationships and stuff so insecure.
100%.
Yeah.
Because it's almost like, what's going on down there? Yeah. What's happening? Yeah. Why is that coming out of me? It's like, that's called cum. It looks like that.
But they don't know that.
Right?
And again, I don't know about you, but I learned about sex through movies. Mm-hmm. Other people probably learned it through porn. Both of those things literally don't teach you what's real.
Yeah.
Because porn, it's just like penetrative, penis and vagina. There's no like pre or post anything. And it's just like, it's I don't want to say it's fake sex, but it's not real.
Yeah.
And then same with what the sex that you see on movies, it's not always that like,
oh my God,
fireworks, passion.
And it doesn't freaking feel good right away. I'm sorry.
I know.
I'm
all
sorry
the movies,
it doesn't.
They lie about your first time, like,
right?
It does not feel good.
It does
for your
not
first
feel
time.
good. And like, but that's the thing, like nobody told us that.
No. There was this show that we used to watch late at night. We were in high school. I think it was like grade 9 or I don't know. I don't know if anyone remembers on Much Music or a Much TV. What is it? The station called? MTV.
Yeah.
Oh,
MTV.
Okay. Yeah.
Sex, Toys, and Chocolate.
Oh, I don't really remember that show.
It was just this random show. It's almost like a panel of people just talking. No, you guys don't remember?
I vaguely remember, but no, not enough.
No. And they just sat around.
And they would sit and talk about sex and like the pleasures of it, and then like some random like sex stories or like bad sex stories that they've had. And it was like a straight girl, a gay guy. They would just have random people on, but they would just talk about scenarios and stuff, and it was like, I thought I was doing something so wrong, but I was like, oh my God, that's kind of how I learned, awesome. Or I was like curious about, oh my God, I didn't know half the stuff they were saying though, which is really crazy because I didn't lose my virginity until like grade 11.
Yeah.
And this was like grade 9 for me, but I was always so curious about just how people did things. And they would talk about foreplay, and I'm like, what is that?
Yeah.
I don't get it. They're talking about so many things, and is all that foreplay? Like, I don't know.
4? Like, is there 4 people? Like,
do they dance?
Like, what is
Is
What
there
is
a
this?
ball involved? Like, are they throwing it
playing?
around? I don't get it.
What a play.
man.
Somebody teach me.
Well, like, that's the thing. Like, nobody taught us anything.
Yeah.
I know. I don't even know what my first like memory or learning of sex was. Like, I'm trying to think back to like, okay, who really taught me about? Like, I don't know. Like,
Nobody.
definitely
I
didn't
have a
have the
story.
sex talk with my parents
Nope,
for sure.
No.
Luckily, we had like
Older
sisters,
siblings.
but we didn't really get
The talk.
the real
or
talks
any
from them.
education behind it on, like, what to expect.
Yeah.
Definitely didn't get that.
For me, it was like I grew up in a bubble of gymnasts, right? So because we were all competitive gymnasts, we didn't really get that social scene as much as most other people did, but you know, there's the rebellious ones in the bunch that get to, you know, go out, go to parties and stuff.
Yeah.
So we would learn from the ones who lost their virginities before us, and then we'd all have like a little talk about like, oh my God, so you totally had sex with what's his name? Okay,
Yeah.
so like tell us how it was.
Yeah.
And it like, yeah, that does happen, but you guys do it too. But she would, like, one of our girls, I'm not going to call out names, but she like explained everything. We're just like, how did it feel? She's like, it was really like uncomfortable. It was really awkward.
Yeah.
And it only lasted like 5 minutes.
That's going to be like,
That was a marathon back in the day.
Nobody
That was
has
the first time.
stamina their first time, so it was just like, yeah, like no, he put the condom on, and then we laid down. I took off my shirt and covered my boobs. You know, like it was just like little stuff like that where it's just like, yeah, it's not all the theatrics at the beginning. It's actually really awkward.
Yes, and that's not what you see on TV. That's not what you see in porn.
Yeah.
Like, it's
like-
not.
You do
course.
5 pumps and you're done.
Done. And then you come home and you're like, why am I bleeding?
Right? My
Yeah.
hymen. Does anyone know what that is? No. You popped your cherry.
That's what it is. And that is normal.
Yeah.
It's okay for that to happen.
You
for
are
the
not on
first
your
time.
period. You don't have a cut down.
Oh my God. That's so funny.
No, do you remember the movie The Wood?
Oh, I love.
Oh my
Everybody
God.
watch
The
The Wood.
Wood.
It will bring you back to high school.
So literally,
It's a black movie.
It's the best black. It's one of my favorite black
Yes.
movies. And when I think about like your first time, like
Yeah.
the way they had their
It
first
was
time,
so funny.
just it's like yeah, that's basically what it was. It's like
Alicia. And her name was Alicia.
oh my God, you will love that movie.
Oh
But
my
it was
God.
so funny because you're watching it and it's like literally their clothes are on.
Yep.
He, steals like his brother's condom or her
Yeah.
brother's condom.
Like-
they lay in the bed. It's like
He didn't
2
even
pumps.
take his. He still
He
had
didn't
his
take
shoes
his-
on.
yeah.
Didn't take his pants off. It was just hanging around his ankles.
Yeah.
And she's just laying there like.
Like
Are
that's
you-
it.
That's it. Like
That was
you
it.
done?
Wow, we did it.
Oh, we did it. Oh my
Yeah.
God. That was
exactly
so
what it is.
exciting.
Man.
And that's like the majority of the time.
Yeah, yeah.
No, like true confession. I literally was so paranoid. Like I thought that as soon as you have sex, you're gonna get pregnant. Well, not you, but me. I just thought that I was like, if I have sex,
Not you.
I am gonna get pregnant. So I
my
genuinely like was
Avoided it.
refused in high school. I was like, I'm not having sex
Nope.
because I'm gonna get pregnant. So like, I didn't have
And then
sex
they're
until
gonna
after
come.
high school
Yeah.
because I genuinely like
We're
in my head was convinced that I'm gonna get pregnant. Like I had a high school boyfriend and oh God bless him, he was so sweet. But he
Modesto.
just like begged and I'm like, no, we can't. What do you
Got
mean?
a job? Can you support our baby?
Like
Want a baby?
we can just make out,
Oh,
like
poor
it's
guy.
And dry hump all day.
yeah. Oh my
All
God.
day long.
Dry humping all day.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
and it's like like other people were having sex and my friends were having sex, and I was like, nope,
Nope.
I ain't doing it. And
Good
none
on
of them
you,
got
girl.
pregnant, but I was convinced that I would be the one.
So try
Like, it's gonna
and
be
think
me.
back as far as you can where you learn that from.
My mother has 8 children. I'm fertile.
There you go.
She's like, she was pregnant all her life.
She was always pregnant.
I'm not ready.
Yeah, I don't know. That's probably the only like basis that I could think.
Yeah.
And then, you know, there was definitely like, you know, like in high school, you had like the group of like high school moms. And I was like,
that's so
my
true.
God, like
it happened to them. I'm going to be them.
that's going to be me. Like, what am I going to do? Like, so I was like, nope, I'm just going to wait until I'm out of high school and then I'll have sex.
Yeah.
And then it's like, and then your first time, it's like, it's just like, all right.
That's what it was.
That was it.
Right?
This is what I waited for.
Right.
The fuck was
I
that?
could have waited longer. What the fuck?
Even the fact that those feelings and those butterflies are there, but shit still don't feel good. Just like,
don't.
thanks for being gentle and sweet,
Yeah.
but that was still awkward.
Yeah.
Thanks for playing music, but that was still awkward.
It still only lasted 5 minutes.
But you did a great job. You did a
Thank
great
you
job.
so much for coming.
I think.
Literally.
So bad.
Literally.
Oh my God. Okay. So getting back to, I guess people feeling nervous about, I guess, exploring that side to them, expressing themselves. Other than, I guess, touching and exploring, finding out what does it feel like down there. What else can we do to explore?
You can explore. Like it depends on what you want to explore. Like, are you trying to explore your pleasure? Are you trying to explore to learn more about your
General
body?
curiosity.
Yeah, like other than touching yourself.
Yeah.
And finding ways that feel good with your touch. You can buy a toy.
Okay.
There ain't nothing wrong with toys. And again, there's a lot of like stigma behind like, I have to hide this toy.
Mm-hmm.
I have to I don't want anybody to know that I have a toy or that I need a toy. But again, there's nothing wrong with having a toy.
Yeah.
And there are so many toys out there that you can explore. If you don't like one, you can go buy another one.
Mm-hmm.
And then also you want to also explore, like, if you've had sex before, it's also nice to explore, like, what makes you feel good with those toys. Like, because there's, like, vibrating toys. There's toys that have, like, an air pulse, like, suction. That
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like, it's
Oh,
crazy.
yeah, I've seen that.
So have a little gander through the sex shop.
Have a little gander. There's lots of things.
Yes.
And there are people there that can help you out.
Mm-hmm.
And they know a lot.
They know a lot. And then also, if you are in a partnership or in a relationship with somebody, you can get them to explore with you. If they're open to wanting to explore, trying new things, you can try all of these things with your partner and see and get them to help you explore yourself. If you're comfortable and if you have that type of relationship with that person.
Yeah. I feel like there's people who also, I guess, like the really shy ones like to like read books, like erotica.
Yeah.
I didn't think of that. That's a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah, like if you're
find out
tiptoeing.
what turns you on. Like, some people like porn. If you like porn, watch porn. There's a lot of like ethical porn out there, not just like fucking Pornhub.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember them off the top of my head right now, but there's like ethical porn that's
Yeah, okay, explain
Yeah.
porn.
so it's porn that has like
A storyline?
consent.
Oh, I like
okay.
that.
Right?
It's not
Like,
always
has
so
consent.
aggressive.
Yeah, it's not always so aggressive. It shows you what these people actually look like, because a lot of time in porn, they like Photoshop people's clits and vulvas.
Really?
Yeah, it's like
Wow.
if there's some like, don't ask me why I know.
Because you're a sex coach.
Yeah, I've seen some clits in porn that are extremely large, and
Wow.
people think that if somebody who has never seen a clitoris before, or like if your clitoris doesn't look like that, you're gonna think like, shit, is there something wrong with my clitoris? Like, why does mine not look like
that?
a little penis? But like porn changes and like photoshops shit like that.
Wow.
So ethical porn is more. It's ethical. It's more geared towards having consent and two people having sex that is like real sex. It's not just like,
it's more realistic.
It's
not a
like
fantasy.
It's not stepmom fucking stepson.
Yeah.
Like, there's no shit like that.
Oh my god.
Or like, electrician comes to fuck me while my husband is away.
The plumber comes to clean the pipes.
Yeah, like, it's not like that.
The gardener.
It's ethical. And like, one thing that I really like about ethical porn is like the fact that there is consent. Like, we don't talk about consent a lot, and it goes like, if there's no consent, if someone doesn't give you consent to do anything with them, you're basically like assaulting them.
Yeah.
Like, nobody.
It's called rape.
Okay.
I'm gonna say it.
It's called unconsensual sex.
AKA rape. Like, if I didn't ask you to touch me, please don't touch me.
Yeah.
No, just don't fight.
Leave it
But
at that.
like, the plumber is coming over and he just starts fucking stepmom, like, in porn, that, like, it's not real.
Yep.
Right? So that's, like, back to what we were talking about, of, like, finding ways to, like, be curious. Like,
we went far left.
Far left and right, then you turn back. But, like, porn is another way for someone to kind of, like, find out if they like porn. Some people don't like watching porn. Like, they may think it's just weird, and that's fine.
Yeah.
There's audio porn, which
audio,
love audio porn. So there's lots of like websites and apps, but I have this app. It's called Dipsea, so Dipsea, and it's literally a bunch of stories of like, it's like a regular story, and then it just leads into them having sex. And for me, I found out, like, once I started listening to it more, what really turns me on is hearing the moaning.
Oh, wow.
And the kissing. And they have that. So in this app, there's like a bunch of stories. So it'll have like a story of like a boy, like a guy and a girl, or it's two girls, or it's two guys. Like, they have all of it. There's like threesome stories. And then there's like meditation, like sexual meditations, guided sexual meditations.
Wow.
Guided like self-pleasure meditation. So it's a really good app. I highly recommend it. So that's like another thing that I would really recommend if someone was exploring what they really want and what they like to find out what they really desire.
Yeah. And I think it's important for people to go down that, discovery journey for just individually, like with yourself, so that the communication can be had in when you find a partner or when you do have a partner. Because I feel like people are still very uncomfortable asking for what they want.
Yeah.
Because they're afraid of being offensive or like, I didn't mean to hurt you, but like, I kind of want you to touch me like this, or I want you to kiss me less.
It's all about the communication.
Yeah.
But we'll save that for another episode.
So, to our listeners, you could find our wonderful sex coach at Self Love with Alicia. And she is going to be back regularly to give us the tip of the D, a.k.a. the tip of the day.
Yes.
So, today's tip is on your page.
Yes.
And I will let you elaborate on it. It says, your wetness does not equal how aroused you are.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So, if you've had sex, you would sometimes feel your wetness. Or, like, for me, it was hearing my partner tell me, like, oh, you're so wet. And then I would just be like, oh, then that means I'm doing something right.
Yeah.
But in reality, honey, sometimes your wetness can be from sexual arousal. But if you didn't know, your wetness could also just be vaginal discharge also.
Wow. Sorry to pop some people's bubble there.
Yeah, sorry.
Be like, I did that. I did that.
Sometimes you did do that. Yeah. But sometimes you didn't do that.
Oh, my God.
So, like, going back to the menstrual cycle, there's different times of the month where your vaginal discharge is more. Like you have more vaginal discharge during certain times of the month, and then certain times of the month you're more, in quotations, wet. So you think like, ooh, yeah, this is why. And then, but sometimes towards the end of your cycle, before your period, you're a little dry.
Yeah.
So a lot of women think there's something wrong with me because I can't get wet. But no, honey, it's normal. It's fine. That's why they invented lube. And again, there ain't nothing wrong with lube. But again, that's for another episode.
So to recap today's episode. 1, know your sex base, as in your sex story. Where'd you learn it? Why you have these stigmas? What is your block? Know your sex story. 2, look at yourself in the mirror. Take a little gander with a mirror.
Take a little look.
Look at what is going on down there. Yeah. And 3, express yourself, okay? These are the various ways you can express yourself. Toys, books, sex shop, porn, ethical porn. Ethical porn.
Or ratchet porn.
Audio, or ratchet porn. Or the audio porn. And go on Dipsy, as Badisha said, which is an app for audio stories. And then don't forget to check out the movie that me and Hasina talked about for a little bit of fun. And if you want a movie night, The Wood. It will bring you back
I definitely gotta watch
to when you lost your virginity, if you lost it in high school. And it'll just bring you back to that time in high school. It's so much fun.
I gotta watch that.
And last but not least, just remember, there ain't no shame in the sex game, okay? Can I get an amen? Okay. So, we got any last words, Badisha?
No, just if you want to hit me up, just follow me on Instagram at Self-Love with Alicia. Get your tips and tricks from my page, and if you want to hit me up, send me a DM. I'm currently taking some clients.
Yes. Can you add me to your list?
I will add you to my list.
Okay.
So excited. Thank you for coming. I feel like I have learned
A lot.
so much.
I'm here.
Damn.
That's right. Another time.
That's the first
All
tip of
right.
the D, and I want to thank you guys all for listening to
The Party Line.
Have a good night.
Bye-bye.